The verbal war between President Obama and Syria's President Assad reached a fever pitch, with Congress and the American people debating what to do in response to that chemical weapons attack in Syria. Assad, in his first interview with an American journalist since the incident, denied he was responsible and suggested there would be repercussions if the Americans take action. Just hours ago, President Obama responded to ABC's Diane Sawyer for our coverage of the crisis in Syria.
In Washington, a president in the political fight of his life.
We will be stronger if we take action together as one nation.
In Damascus, another president in the fight of his life.
Kerry didn't even present any evidence. He talked, we have evidence, and he didn't present anything.
Nearly 3 weeks, 20 days after the chemical attack in Syria, a war of words for the hearts and minds of the world.
The Assad regime's inhuman use of weapons of mass destruction against innocent men, women, and children
unleashed hellish chaos and terror on a massive scale.
And if we don't stand up to it, we'll face it more, and they will think they can intimidate anybody.
Straight to the breaking news. If Bashar al-Assad yields control of his chemical weapons to international authority, are we back from the brink? Is military strike on pause?
Absolutely, if in fact that happened. I don't think that we would have gotten to this point unless we had maintained a credible possibility of a military strike, and I don't think now's the time for us to let up on that. So what I've said specifically is I want to make sure that that norm against use of chemical weapons is maintained. That's in our national security interests. If we can do that without a military strike, that is overwhelmingly my preference. And now the key is, can we see with a sense of urgency?
Urgency meaning how long does he have to show this is real? A week, a month?
This is one of those situations where the stakes are high, but they're long-term. They're not immediate, they're not imminent, but they are serious. I don't anticipate that you would see a succession of votes this week or any time in the immediate future. And so I think there will be time during the course of the debates here in the United States for the international community, the Russians and the Syrians, to work with us to see is there a way to resolve this. But
so
I want to make sure that we
weeks.
don't take pressure off.
Bashar al-Assad has said everything is possible in terms of retaliation.
Will there be attacks against American bases in the Middle East if there's an airstrike?
You should expect everything. You should expect everything. Not necessarily through the government. It's not only the governments are not the only player in this region. You have different parties, you have different factions, you have different ideology. You have everything in this region now.
Do you feel at this moment, looking at everything that's possible, that the American people should brace for retaliation?
No. Look, we take all precautions, but understand Assad's capabilities are not significant compared to ours. They're significant compared to an opposition that are not professional fighters.
They have allies, Iran, Hezbollah?
They're significant relative to 400 children that they gassed. They're not significant relative to us. Iran is not going to war with the United States over the use of weapons that they themselves object to. But I think it is important for us to understand that if, in fact, the choice is between a world in which dictators and other countries start believing it's acceptable to use chemical weapons on civilians and children, that will make it more dangerous for us. It means our troops, when they're in theater, all start having to wear gas masks because they don't know whether or not chemical weapons would be used. If we can resolve this without military conflict, that is my great preference, because I have to tell you that I would much rather be talking about how we can provide early childhood education to our kids and create more jobs and focus on all the things that I really think the American people care deeply about. But my responsibility as Commander-in-Chief is to make sure that I think about our long-term national security interests, and the use of chemical weapons threatens that in a significant way.
You still want Congress to vote authorization, and do you still reserve the right to strike if they say no?
With respect to me ordering a strike in the face of congressional opposition, this is something that I have said to my team is the reason I took this to Congress in the first place. I think that on issues like this, it's important for me to weigh consensus in this country. Strikes may be less effective if I don't have congressional support, and if the American people don't recognize why we're doing this. So I haven't made a final determination in terms of what next steps would be. My hope would be that I can persuade Congress that this is important. My hope is that I can persuade some of the American people that this is important.
But it's a tough sell. In a new ABC News poll, 64% of the American people oppose airstrikes, up 5% from just a week ago. Be sure to watch President Obama address the nation tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on ABC.